online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, everybody, we're back! AfterBuzzers to SNL's after show recap of with Chris Hemsworth, musical guest Chance the Rapper. Just remember to like us on YouTube, follow us, subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter. I'm your host, Kelly McInerney. You can follow me on Twitter at HollyWeirdo. Here's my super awesome co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Katie Wilbert, and you can find me on all things social media at Katie Wilbert.
Hey, my name is Amy Maestri. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Amy Maestri.
Woohoo! Yeah. So, this episode, really, good. Just to describe in a word. It was good. Kind of weird, right? What did you guys think of it?
Yeah, it was wackadoo. And there was so much that left me going, why? What?
Yeah, exactly.
But I did not enjoy it. I laughed for a lot of it.
Yeah. I feel like there were some meh sketches, but the good ones were like really good, you know?
Yeah, there were some really strong moments, but I actually did write why, like in all caps, a few times, just because the weirdness of the show. But.
Yeah. But one of the best moments, I would say, was the cold opening with George W. I think Adam McKay probably wrote it, too, because he introduced Will Ferrell. That voice was actually him.
Oh, that would make so much sense. Yeah. As soon as it ended, I was like, wow, that was really good writing.
Yeah.
So that would make sense if it was Adam McKay.
He usually does the George W. sketches with Will, so.
There it is.
But yeah.
We found it.
Here we go.
Yeah. I thought it was, what did you guys think of it?
Oh, yeah. It was, I mean, from top to bottom, it was so good. It was like the narrative that it took on of just how smart is that? Like with the circus that's been going on with the Republican Party right now, to have George W. Bush come in and speak his mind on it and to bring through like some of those truths that like people are just going to say, oh, God, that's right. George W. Bush just laid it down for us. So I thought from beginning to end it was great. I think my favorite moment of it, though, was the leprechaun story, comparing them to the Muslims. Like, we never found them. Now they don't exist. We can't even find them now. Like,
so good.
Yeah. I thought it was great how he just puts it in kind of simple terms why these people are so crazy. Like, I liked the whole Jeb part, how he's like, in a plot twist, I'm the smart one.
Yeah, that was my favorite joke that I wrote down.
Yeah. And broccoli, that part. That was like, you can't say broccoli. Not gonna like it.
The exclamation mark for Jeb.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought there were so many good comparisons and metaphors that he used. And anytime I see Jay Farrow do Ben Carson, I'm like so pleased. Yeah. His like weird lady hands and like how he never fully opens his eyes. And I loved George Bush's commentary on him saying that like he can never hear him and stuff. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, I love that part when he's like, when you go to China, you talk loudly.
That's all you have to do.
So smart. Yeah, one of my favorites. And then we got into the monologue, which was I liked it as well. I always like when it's different when they like use they're not always on stage. They use the space and walk around, just because it switches it up. Because there's so many like musical monologues now and everything. What did you guys think of it?
I thought he was having so much fun,
yeah,
which is what made me really love it. His energy was like palpable.
Yeah.
It was both palatable and palpable. And I think it's always fun when you get to see the cast members just like being themselves for a second.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that how he was a bully, but you still liked him. You're still like laughing about it. And, no matter what, you'd still hit it, right? To like, all the girls.
Yeah, I love whenever they do behind the scenes stuff like that, whenever they actually take it back, you know, like to the back hallways and everything, and you see the showgirls. And I saw the showgirls. I didn't see Abe Lincoln in this one, I don't think. I don't know if I noticed him, because I know whenever they go back there, I saw the showgirls after, which that was one of my favorite moments too, when he throws the apple at Beck, and he just knew, like, as soon as he turned the corner, and Beck was just like, no, and he just took off. Yeah, I think all of that lead up too was nice to come to Leslie when she was just like, you're not going to touch me. And he was like, yeah, okay, all right, you know, like, I thought that was a nice lead up to her.
I think he's a really good host because he seems to kind of commit to all the characters. I thought it was weird though because the next 2 sketches he wasn't in at all, and then the last one, which was a replay, Aaron's List, because I thought it seemed like he was a strong character, like strong. Sometimes hosts are a little like meh, and the cast kind of saves them. But I thought Chris was pretty great in this episode.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think comparatively to Ryan Gosling, I thought Ryan Gosling really excelled in the digital shorts where he was allowed to actually act. But I felt like when he was in sketches, he wasn't acting. He was just like watching people perform and then like being on stage in a suit or something. I feel like when you put Chris Hemsworth in a sketch, he's like actually playing and acting and like so into what's happening. And it feels easy and seamless, and you feel safe with him. You don't feel like, oh, this is weird. He shouldn't ever do comedy. Like, he's really funny. I wish he would do more comedy, actually. Did you guys see Vacation?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
So underrated. Yeah. That movie is hilarious. It's the new Vacation movie. It's like the, what's his face? What's the son's name?
Ed Helms. Oh, Rusty.
Yeah, so it's like Rusty from Christmas Vacation, all the other vacation movies. He grows up, has his own family, and it's genius. Like, it's so funny, and Chris Hemsworth is great.
I loved it. Like, I know it didn't get good ratings or whatever, and it wasn't in theaters that long, but I agree. I thought it's a good, like, homage to the originals.
I think so.
Yeah, and it does. I thought, me and my roommate were talking, I guess this makes more sense with discussing another sketch, but, like, we were talking, like, Liam or Chris. But Liam, way better looking, in our opinion. Chris, way better actor, like with everything. He's funny and he's serious. Yeah, and I thought I agree about the Ryan Gosling thing because last week I think the writing was stronger.
Yeah, the writing was great.
Yeah, but he just doesn't know how to emote.
That's what I like about Chris Hemsworth too, is that a lot of times those kind of actors like that are kind of more known for serious roles, and especially someone like him who's obviously just like super built, super good looking, like a lot of those actors have a hard time, I feel like, really committing to comedy because you're just like, oh look, they're trying to do comedy right now, but like he really committed to everything. Like he went hard for it. And I think after last week's episode, I know I was actually talking to my sister after she had watched the show, after the AfterBuzz show, and she was like, yeah, you guys didn't really talk about Ryan Gosling that much. And I was like, that's right, it's because we were too busy talking about how good everyone else was. And it just, because, again, he didn't commit the same way that Chris Hemsworth was able to this time and really get into it and kind of submerge himself into the cast where you're not, you know, like in Elizabeth Banks, where you're just like, oh, is there even a host?
Yeah.
It's like there's just another cast member this week.
Yeah. I feel like Chris Hemsworth is really good at poking fun at himself, too. So he takes, like, a level of himself and pushes it to a 10 and then, like, just really enjoys it. But then, I mean, I think it's that interesting thing in our industry that I don't want to say like everyone can be a dramatic actor, but like I think comedy is way harder. There's like a kind of science to it, and you're sometimes either funny or you're not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and SNL proves that too. So I mean, Annette Bening, not a good SNL host. Robert De Niro, not a good SNL host.
Well, he's horrible like in interviews too. Like he's very shy.
So it's like, I mean, some of these brilliant actors, they step on stage at SNL and it just doesn't work. So I think that's a fair point.
I wonder if it's, and I mean, you can't completely cater all of your sketches to your host because you have to go with whatever is current and happening, and like, you know, your characters you're already developing and stuff. But I just wonder if there is some way to cater to like dramatic actors like Robert De Niro, because I felt like in a better way in that they would be more like able to be vulnerable or emotional. Like if what they're really good at is getting emotional, then like would it be best to make them a character that gets super emotional? Because I felt like last week, Ryan Gosling's best performance of the show was the Santa Baby sketch where he was like breaking stuff and being really intense. And it was funny, but he got to do what he's really good at. And I feel like sometimes they don't always do that. They make someone like Robert De Niro be like a kooky busboy. But like that's not what he's...
I think also though... Yeah, I think also the live thing plays a big part because I think with the dramatic act, they might like study the character for a while and just get super into it. While like this, they rewrites right up until the live show. You know, they don't know, so they can't really dive in like usual.
That's true.
When like comedy, you don't dive in really, but you kind of you're either funny or you're not. What you said, I feel like.
Yeah. I saw one of those Hollywood roundtables where Betty White was talking about how it frustrates her that she, these new funny movies, you go in and the scripts change constantly. And she's like, that's not how it's supposed to work. And then, all these new, not new, but younger female comedians are like, oh, I love that. I love when it changes and I get to improvise. And Betty White and another actress whose name I forget, who are just older, they've been around, and they're like, no. Like, I need to study, and I need to be in it, and I need to be very prepared. It's just, like, a total different mindset.
She was great, though, when she hosted.
Betty White?
She nailed it.
She's such a baller.
She nailed it.
But I think that was just her being Betty White, kind of.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get back to Chris. The next sketch, which I think is, like, one of the most popular ones, at least in the day, was the first digital short about the action figures, Star Wars action figures commercial.
Right.
Amy, what'd you think of it?
I think it was a funny narrative to kind of bring into it because it is such a known thing, like, oh yeah, like kids are gonna like this stuff. But then I like that they didn't kind of take like the creepy angle, the creepy approach of like old dudes like collecting toys and being like creeps, but more just like, we want to preserve them and like this is super fun for us, and like kind of putting it on that same level as the kids, but why it's fun for them. So I thought it was a nice take on it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I liked when they had to react kind of like the kids too, like how when Bobby was closing the thing and then he was like, awesome!
Yeah.
Still in the commercial.
Slow close.
That's where most of the action figures go anyways, let's be real.
That's true.
But yeah, I thought it was no Chris though. First sketch without Chris. Very weird. He could have played an older, creepy guy. I know he's handsome, but put some glasses on and a wig, boom.
He would be a hot old dude, too.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
The next one on the record with Greta Van Susteren. Another one without Chris. Katie, what did you think about it?
I thought, it was just kind of so-so for me. It's not that there were so many funny things within it, but I just didn't feel like comparatively to everything in the episode that it was maybe the strongest sketch. I also don't watch Fox News, so I think impressions-wise for Greta, I wasn't able to be like, oh, that's such a good impression, because I don't watch it, but it's Kate McKinnon, so I'm sure it was actually a great impression. What I did love was...
Ben Carson, right?
Ben Carson. Yeah. That's what I wrote down. Was just another Ben Carson thing. Oh, that's what I was thinking of earlier. Yeah. I said he was in the cold open. He wasn't in the cold open.
That's okay.
I was thinking about this impression. That's cool. So, yeah, I enjoyed Ben Carson.
I felt like this one, it was just the same joke over and over again. No heightening of it. And, like, that's just really how they think. And that's what... It's not, like... Sure, I guess Sarah Palin, like, a lot of what she thinks is what they say is what she thinks, and it's a joke. It works, like, with Tina Fey, but this was just like, all right, we get it, you know?
This was very much, it could have been, like, very closely scripted to just things, because, like, with Cruz, like, the whole thing, especially lately, like, about, like, he's always kind of played nice with Trump, but then, like, this week that recording got released where he's kind of, like, bashing him a little bit more, and he's kind of stepping back in this part of it, and, you know, when he just keeps bringing up the Constitution, and then the thing with, again, like, Ben Carson this week saying hummus instead of Hamas, like, again, it was just, like, yeah, like you said, there wasn't really, like, anywhere that they took it. They were just like, oh, here's things that happened in the news this week with politicians.
Yeah, and I thought it was weird that it was so early in the episode, especially because the cold open was very political, and it was definitely one of the weaker sketches. Probably one of my least favorites.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to go from the cold open with Will Ferrell and having Adam McKay write something that was brilliant, and I think anytime you take something in a different lens, like through the eyes of George W. Bush, you can get away with more. You can color it with a different way of thinking that you're like, oh my gosh, I would never think of that, but it's so like the broccoli line. Mm-hmm. I think it's just hard to go from something as great as that then into something that felt slightly, just watered down and kind of formulaic, and it didn't heighten.
Wah, wah. Next one, another digital short, kind of like the Santa Baby of last episode, In Time to Bleed. I thought it was kind of heightening, but it still was the same one joke. I get it because he plays cops in serious movies all the time, but what do you guys think of it?
I laughed.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that I agree that it was one joke, but I think they did a good job of escalating that one joke, and they do that a lot, like the kind of like, I'm gonna be a tough guy while I'm also hitting on you the whole time because I'm super freaking hot. Yeah. But then I did like the calf implants as like one of the last like oh good, he's finally in the hospital. Oh no, he requested calf implants.
Mm-hmm. I loved his performance. I loved his performance too. Because he just passed out and everything. Yeah,
it was great. And I think this was the first sketch that I was like, oh, that's weird. It was the first like weird sprinkling of like, I'm here to get calf implants. And then, I knew it. I was like, oh, he's going to die. And then he did. And I was excited about that. But I thought it was great. I mean, the blood spot gets bigger. Him like being incoherent because he obviously has an infection and is dying. I thought it was a very funny way to go, like, isn't this ridiculous that all action films are like this?
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it, and I thought he did a great job.
I thought Sashir did a really nice job in it, too. Like, she was just, it was subtle, you know? Like, she didn't need to do anything crazy, and I thought she was really good supportive in it.
I feel like that's what she's great at, and I wish that they would use her more.
Yeah. I think they're just starting to realize that now, because now this season, I'm noticing more of her, and last season... I get it because last season was her first season, but John Radinsky, it's his first season, and he's like killing it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, but I'm happy they're using her.
Yeah, me too.
The next sketch, Brother to Brother, they actually did this when he first hosted. I think last year, maybe?
I think that's a good guess.
Yeah. It looked it from the picture, at least.
We'll agree.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's same thing, like the same one joke. Weird ending, a little bit. Weird.
Oh, that was really strange.
Yeah.
Like, I kiss my brother at night. Your twin brother. It was real.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Weird and incesty and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then it just was out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Written by...
Not Taran Killam.
Created by Taran Killam. Written by not Taran Killam.
Yeah.
It was... I didn't...
It was...
I think this sketch is always going to remind me, and I think I referenced it last week or the last episode, Mirror Image is one of my favorite sketches that Kristen Wiig and Amy Adams did, and it's that same type of idea of, like, let's be cheesy twins who switch spots and, like, people, like, figuring out who's going to notice it or not. Mm-hmm. And a sketch like that, I think, they took it in so many different directions and gave the characters a lot more depth. This was just like people shitting on Taran the whole time, which like some of the lines were funny, but that's all it ended up being until it got incestual at the end. So
that
it was
ending just
so
didn't make sense. It had no place. I feel like they could have easily ended it in a way that was a better button, like play the game or play it in a different way, or someone in the class actually thinks the hot brother is ugly or points out flaws on him to like reverse it. I don't know.
Take like one right turn instead of just staying like on that one level.
Staying on the same level and then going straight to incest. Like, I feel like that's such a beginning improv mistake. Like, I was talking, like writing a new sketch show, and someone was like, one of my first improv classes, I was so nervous. I just immediately was like, I slept with my brother. And I just feel like, and maybe it was an inside joke of like, this is what beginning improvisers do. I don't know. I just thought the ending was really weird, and I was enjoying the sketch up until that moment, and was like,
yeah. I also didn't like. I feel like it underutilized Chris, that sketch, because he's a good performer. We noticed in this episode, and I think the last one he was pretty good too. And he's just standing there like, not really doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Same thing with the next sketch. I was not a big fan of either. I don't know.
Piano.
I wrote Deborah's Time.
Oh, that makes way more
Well,
sense.
I did Christmas piano parody, then I wrote Deborah's one.
Great. You know what? I actually really, really liked this, the scene, and I felt like, have you listened to the last 5 years? Or the first 5 years?
Last 5 years.
Thank you.
My roommate just watched that last night.
Okay, yeah. So it felt like taking a song from that musical, just the way that the music was written and the style of it, which I thought was really funny and kind of tickled me.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed it, and I feel like Cecily commits so hard to those types of things. So I enjoyed seeing her be like always lacking. Like the drama of it was really enjoyable, and then anytime they'd cut to them on the piano, just like, what? And I liked the turn that they all actually ended up knowing the song, because I was curious how they were going to end it. I wasn't sure if they were singing and it was going to be actually the couple's story. That's what I was expecting it to be, that this couple is singing about...
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and really you find out they're in a bad marriage or something.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked that that's not what happened. And I found it to be really enjoyable.
Yeah, I loved, I think this pretty similar, just Cecily's performance in it just cracked me up, because I think she is great with that. And then also just like the smaller weird things, when he was just like, turn off another lamp. And Darren's like, it's already pretty dark in here.
Yeah.
I almost thought they were going to do that again at one point too, like just to run it out.
yeah.
Like I thought they were going to give a third beat of that, just like, come on, man. Like, so like
would've been fun.
weirder little things like that. Again, a Y ending. Did they all
That's
just
what
die?
I wrote. Weird ending.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
All
They
just
get
die
in the
a car
car.
crash.
That's
Yeah. A lot of Y endings.
Yeah.
Real bizarre.
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't.
What?
I don't know. I felt like the people in the sketch, until they remembered the song, I was like, what is going on? Like, what?
Yeah, once they all give that last line, and of course it's the slapping line too,
Yeah.
which is just so funny. And then he slaps her back.
Why wouldn't they just end it on, I know that song too. It was from the Schmuckers commercial, and then play some holiday song out. Like, I would have been so content.
Because they had to be weird.
But then they
and
were
have
like,
them
oh
all
yeah,
die.
we could catch the musical. Let's leave now. I'll drive really fast. And then they die.
Maybe they just had that car swerving, and they're like, we need to use this in a sketch.
Someone has been waiting all season, like, you know that lizard car swerve cut that we've got? Like, I really want to use it somewhere. Maybe we could do it in the piano one.
The guy
Just-
the guy who did that just invited over all of his family and friends and like, wait for it.
Ugh.
That was me.
Yep.
That was me.
Strange choice.
Up next, Chance the Rapper. I didn't really know him beforehand. Good for him for getting on SNL. You know, I'm proud of you. Proud of you, Chance.
We're really behind you, Chance.
Didn't really watch the second one. And watched part of the first one. What did you guys think of it?
I thought it was very energetic.
Yeah.
I remember seeing some Drake performance where he was like performing on MTV Music Awards or something, but it was just like so slow and kind of lethargic, and I was like, what's the big deal about this guy? Like, I couldn't figure it out. Based on seeing him perform live like that, I was like, it's very slow and strange. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I like it better on the radio. I felt like based on his performance, he was really active and like, yeah, he just had a lot of energy, and I felt like the song was cool. So I thought he was great. And I always love when they've got like a full-bodied band behind them.
Yeah, that always helps. And I think that helps with the energy part of it too, just having all them behind him. But yeah, I liked him. I'd never heard of him before, but I liked his sound. It was kind of different. He also rapped about tricks. I don't know if I believe I heard a line about tricks, like the
Cereal?
the bunny rabbit.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I think there were some more lines about
Rascally Rabbits.
rascally rabbits.
Isn't that, though?
I enjoyed that.
That's Bugs Bunny. Rascally Rabbit.
He's just covering
Well,
the
he's
gambit.
a
of
A lot
bug.
of
rabbits.
rabbits.
Yeah, yeah.
There were like some rabbit chat.
Yeah. That's our takeaway.
Nice.
Chance the
is
Rapper.
the
He likes
segment where
rabbits.
white girls talk about rapping very poorly.
He mentioned a cereal.
I was
And I
watching
know that.
Yummy marshmallows. I was watching him thinking rapping is really hard.
Yeah, he was very imaginative. Like, and it was I felt like it was very creative. I couldn't keep up with it, obviously, after I heard Tricks. I was just like, I'm on cereal. But yeah, I feel like he was very, like, I'd like to actually read his lyrics because they seemed very good.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm impressed by rappers.
Yeah. Me too.
It's very impressive. I just had that moment while watching him, like...
Should try it out.
I have, and I'm decent at it.
Good.
I'm just decent, and that's okay. But I wish I could be great at it, but I can't get my tongue and my lips to move that fast. Like, if I'm gonna try and spit some rhymes, that's a weird...
That's great.
It's the whitest, worst
so natural for you,
way of
didn't it?
ever saying that. Yeah, I couldn't. I cannot spit out rhymes. I just have to say them in my own slow cadence.
Maybe it's like running, you know, when you don't know how to run that far, but you just got to keep practicing, and then soon you'll be fast.
I used to watch YouTube videos how to beatbox because I really wanted to be a beatboxer. I couldn't do it. I was like spitting on my computer for hours, being like, "Well, this is I don't know how anyone what." So you guys get to imagine me.
You'll get there someday.
Yeah, that's what I do in my spare time is I watch beatboxing videos and I try and spit rhymes and
Sounds
fall
fun.
flat.
Makes sense.
Just have a very wet computer.
All right. Now to Weekend Update.
Hey, Colin Jost.
Yeah. I thought this was like my least favorite Weekend Update so far this year. No like real jokes like sure they were funny, like the Trump part in the beginning, but nothing like ha ha, like laugh out loud. That's how I laugh out loud. Yeah. I thought the two people were kind of weak. I mean, Leslie was okay, but Merkel, meh. For Kate McKinnon, I always have a high pedestal, you know, put her on the pedestal, and I was like, nah.
Can't put that P on the pedestal.
Yeah.
That's what they say, right?
They do.
Don't. I'm not going to say it. I say some version of vagina every show. I'm just going to not. Anyway,
Well, you've already
just
said
did.
vagina
You just
now,
did.
so.
I that's true. I went for it.
You didn't mean to, but you did.
Oh boy. I'm sorry, Kelly.
No,
You were
it's all right.
saying.
No, it's fine. Yeah, just what did you guys think of Angela Merkel?
It really resonated with me, genuinely, because I grew up with German grandparents, and I used to be read this German children's story that was meant to teach you not to do things like don't play with matches, don't suck your thumbs. And the way that it would teach you that is like it shows you these very graphic, violent images, and it's like a nursery rhyme of like Pauline is at home and her parents are like don't play with matches, and then she does and she gets lit on fire, and then her cats cry over her ashes, and it's just like traumatizing. And then there's like a grave and her parents are like, why, we lost our daughter so young. It's like horrifying.
Wow.
And that's what I grew up on. So when she said in Germany, our Santa is Krampus, and yeah, he like makes you confess your sins or whatever she was saying, I was like, that's so funny because it's true. It's how I felt. So I really connected with it. I liked her joke about her and Trump's hair being similar, that they go into the hairdresser and it's like, I've got 3 seconds, go. So
Yeah, I like that part. And I liked when she's like, I guess he prefers our earlier stuff.
yes,
That
yeah,
was good.
yeah.
That was good. Yeah, I don't know that there were too many, as you would call it, like really laugh out loud moments. But I think the Trump rant in the beginning was great just because there were a lot of truths. And unlike the Fox News thing, they found a way to like actually bring comedy into the truths that were actually happening. Yeah, the Angela Merkel, I think she's been funnier at times, but Kate's just so good too at like the weird, dark craziness in characters. Like any like German or Russian, I feel like she just is always gonna knock out of the park. But again, not my favorite from her. And honestly, Leslie, just I would be okay with not seeing her on Update for a while.
Yeah, too much.
I loved her in the beginning. I'm like, man, this girl commits. She's really funny. She goes so hard at it, but it's the same thing every time. She says something
sketches,
about Jost.
too.
Yeah, she says something about Jost being some sort of milky
It's always true,
beverage.
but it
Yeah,
is
I mean,
said quite often.
look at him. And even this one too, this rant just didn't, like, why is she talking about Breaking Bad? I know he called light to that, like, oh, it came out 7 years ago, but like, I don't know. I just don't think it made
Bless
any
you.
sense
Thank
to
you.
do it.
Bless you.
And
Kelly.
even if it did make sense to do it, I need a break from that.
Yeah,
from
why
that
did they
update.
bring up Breaking Bad?
Just saying that she's not really versed, like, in the... Like, every time they bring her up for a topic, she never does that topic, really. So this one, she just, like, ended up talking about how she wants to sell meth, I guess. It was just, like, okay, we get it, you're a strong black woman, just, like, I've got opinions.
Yeah.
That's her. Like, that's her character
Exactly.
and everything. I've got opinions.
We know.
I do
We
really
know.
enjoy it, but yeah, it gets kind of redundant.
Burnt out,
after
you know?
A while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to point out something. Michael Che has really good shoes.
I've never known. How did you see them?
Because as they pulled out, he was drinking a red Solo cup and he had his feet upon the thing. Yeah, I'm wearing sweats. That's right. I have a nice shirt on, and underneath this table are sweats and boots that don't go with my outfit. Didn't plan on revealing that, and that just happened.
Tricks of the camera.
Thanks, Michael Che. But yeah, he had like really great shoes on, and I just wanted to be like, Michael Che, I like your shoes.
Well, I love it too because when she noticed that too, I was like, man, that's funny because they had that joke when they were talking about if they own guns or not, and Jost was a few weeks back and he was like, wait, you own a gun? Why do you own a gun? He's like, man, I have a lot of sneakers.
Yeah.
So it's true. That's my sneakers he wants to protect.
I also, not related to Weekend Update, but I loved in the beginning in the monologue when he also took the stuff out of his hand, Jost's hand, like slapped it.
Yes!
Nerd. See
Yes.
you later. I love them together. Like,
Me too.
This was not my favorite update, but I still love you guys. That's what I'm trying to say.
Agree.
Nice.
Yeah.
Michael Che's really attractive too.
Yeah.
Ladies brunch.
I'm more Team Jost, though.
Yeah, I'm Team Jost myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll always be Team Jost, obviously. But I'm just saying, Michael Che is attractive and he has great shoes and a great sense of humor. And I'm sure he would like know how to take you on a date. It's like all I'm saying.
I'm sure
Tweet
he
at him.
really appreciates this, right?
Yeah.
I just want to date Weekend Update. The table.
just bring him on.
Both. Let's continue
Okay.
on.
Next one, our friend Claire. I really enjoyed this one. Probably my favorite, I think. Because anytime a guy dresses as a woman, win. But I loved how they just made it real, like, that's Chris Hemsworth. Like, you know, I just loved how the joke was that he was in a dress, and it was, instead of just like, how sometimes when they dress up as women, and it's clearly they don't even look like it, that they reacted like normal people in this one. What did you...
Freaking loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was giggling the whole way through. As soon as they did the, you guys, doesn't it seem a little like our friend Claire is maybe Chris Hemsworth in a dress? I was like, yes.
Such
This
a good twist.
And just simple, and it's right there, but it's like so enjoyable and funny, and I loved it. And I loved the ending of them being like, oh, you are such a hunk. Like, no, we don't think differently of you. And Aiden being like, no, this was bad and you're weird now.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought the whole sketch was genius and silly and so enjoyable.
That was one of my favorite endings for a sketch I think that I've seen in a long time. That was such a strong ending. That made me laugh. I was laughing the whole time, but that might have gotten me the most, just that ending. I think it's one of the strongest they've had. And I actually, in the beginning, wasn't too, like, as soon as it came on, I was like, okay. Because I'm never sure with, like, guys in drag sketches, because a lot of times they just go in for the easy laugh, like, oh, it's funny. It's a guy in a dress. And I'm like, okay,
me. That's me.
What else are we going to
I'm
do,
the easy
though?
laugh
Yes,
there.
I'm like, what else are we going to do? And I was so pleasantly surprised. This was definitely my favorite of the night.
Yeah, me too. I loved how 80 was the one that's like, this is weird. But I agree, because I think now you notice when it ends well. Because there's so many, like, that didn't end good. That didn't, you know? And this one was like, yes.
It's
Full
so
beginning to
satisfying.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even within it, too, like, the idea of, like, no, I'm pretty sure that's Chris Hemsworth in a dress, but then also taking on the other side of it, like, now that I think about it, I don't think I've met Claire before today. So, like, realizing they don't even know
from
Claire.
childhood or college or something. Yeah, I thought the game was really fun and well done, not overthought about, just like, it just felt like easy and
Sometimes simple is the best route. Like with the Star Wars thing, that's just real life, you know? With this, it's just like him in a dress. Oh, yeah, but it's actually him in a dress. You know, that's the joke. And sometimes that works the best. Like, you don't have to
reach so far. Yeah. The first funny thing, that's what they say. You do a class at UCB, they're going to be like, just go to the first funny thing, not 20.
Yeah.
Then you've got 20 sketches.
The next one, my name is Mark. John Radinsky finally playing like a big role. Good for him already.
I know. I was really excited for him.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily love the sketch, but I enjoyed him and was really like just so excited for him to be on and having his own sketch. So I was thrilled.
Yeah, I think it was like kind of like a good fun character for him, just because he is he's very jovial. I feel
Isn't
like
he just?
He is like, you know. So I think it was a good role for him. I don't think the writing was great in it, just because it was very much just like, I don't know what the premise was.
Yeah.
To be honest, like other than like
He's the fun one.
He's the fun pirate.
I think the idea was good. Like, oh yeah, let's have him be goofy or whatever, but it just didn't go anywhere. And also didn't really end.
No, it didn't end. It was curious. I just felt curious about it. Like, this needed working on before it got on stage, probably.
Yeah, it needed to go somewhere else, and or again, like either escalate that character or make him take a right turn. Like there's something really dark about him that we find out all of a sudden he's not the funny guy. Like he's actually like pretty miserable, and he's like, you know, so like either take that right turn or like do something more with the character you've already established. I feel like
I can make him super crazy, or he does die off the side of the boat. Like, he was the fun one. Does everyone, like, mourn him now and, like, no one has fun and then they throw her off the boat? Like, what are they... I don't know.
Why not?
That got dark. I'm sorry.
Next one, the male dancers, no stripping. Meh. I don't know. Like, I felt like this episode kind of petered off right after Our Friend Claire. In my opinion. Like, well, a little bit of the My Name is Mark was good because John, but then just, like... got bored very quickly.
I thought the best part of Hunk Junction Male Strip Club, which is what I've called the sketch, was John Radinsky coming in as the, like, extra, read all about it, and doing, like, an adorable jump.
I think Chris Hemsworth launching him across the stage was probably my favorite part, too.
Yeah,
pretty great.
Yeah, and I mean, even though it was not great dancing, still getting to see Chris Hemsworth dance.
Pretty good.
Getting to see
Still
Chris
gonna be okay with
Hemsworth
that.
do... anything. It's fine with me. See, I'm a Chris.
Team Chris?
Team Chris.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm indecisive because I think Liam's better looking, but Chris is the one with the talent, the skill.
Yeah, I think Chris, when he has
and
his
he's got
hair
a great
like
body.
this, when Chris has his hair this length, I like that.
Yeah.
Like when the Thor thing doesn't work for me as much, even though that's what Claire was pushing. I know Claire was really pushing Thor hard, but
yeah, it works for me anyway.
Yeah,
it's like this Clay Matthews thing, and I'm into it. I'm like, are you a Viking? I'm terrified and excited. And I'm okay with it. And then if you shave your head, I'm still okay because now you're a modern man. I just feel like there's so much versatility.
Now I'm picturing it. Yeah, he could totally pull off the shaved head too.
You know, I'm just
I like hair.
Just fighting for Team Chris. That's all I'm saying.
All right. The last sketch was just a sketch we saw already a few weeks ago. Aaron's list. So they ran short, I guess. Kind of a bummer. 3 sketches without Chris because he had potential, guys.
Yeah.
What the heck? So kind of overall, what do you like? If you could, I guess, grade the episode. Want to try and grade the episode in a?
I think overall, I would give it a B, just because it did definitely have its moments. I mean, the brunch thing with Claire, I mean, like, absolutely love that. There were a lot of really high points, but there was enough to kind of like drag it down, I think, that just didn't make sense. A lot of the endings is what crushed it for me in this one, too. So many weird endings, and then to have such a strong ending in the Claire sketch. But I would say a solid B.
Yeah. I agree 100% with what you said. Katie.
I feel like it was silly, and I enjoyed it. And sometimes I get too analytical afterwards thinking about an episode and forgetting how much I really laughed during an episode. And you know what? I'm going to give it an A- because I giggled so frequently.
All right.
And I just wanted you to know the truth.
Do you guys have?
Speak that truth.
Do you guys have an MVP of the episode?
Chris Hemsworth.
Me too.
Yeah.
He stole the show,
I'd say
even without the 3 sketches.
Yeah.
Yeah, his energy is, what did I say earlier? Palatable and palpable.
Yeah. I think his talent probably stole the show, and his biceps came in a close second.
Yeah.
His face.
Yeah.
Just all of it.
He's a good looking guy.
Keep doing that.
He's got hands that are.
I think whenever
grab things.
Whenever a host can really just slide right in like that, they will be my favorite.
Hey. All right. Well, awesome. Next week it's going to be Tina and Amy hosting. Super exciting. And it's the Christmas episode.
Oh.
Whoa.
There's
Man.
nothing more I want for Christmas or the last day of Hanukkah, which is today.
Good to know.
Happy Hanukkah to everyone out there who celebrates Hanukkah.
Cool. On that note,
that was the new Hanukkah song.
Amy, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, my name is Amy Maestri. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Amy Maestri.
And I'm Katie Wilbert, and you can find me all the places at Katie Wilbert.
And I'm Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. See you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.